Leader Rawls was praised for his leadership over the course of fall camp and just since he's been with the program. To see him play as well as he did, get an interception, I guess, how cool was that?
Yeah, I think, Lyric's been a great addition to this program. From the time he came on his visit, he's shown lots of maturity, passion for the game. He studies it. He's well liked in the locker room. He loves the way he goes about it. I thought he had a solid game. He had that was a big time interception, and yeah, definitely a nice way to get it started for him, and a guy that again that we're going to count on a lot in that back end throughout the season.
When you had the chance to go back and look at the tape from Saturday, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
I thought we played very hard. I thought we were physical. Defensively, I thought we played extremely well after the first series. Controlled line of scrimmage, did the things that we set out to do, created some turnovers. Offensively, I thought Jalen played really well. Accurate with the ball, where he was going, decisive, all those things. Thought the backs ran hard. I'm pleased with the way we protected the quarterback. Those type of things. We got to clean up the penalties, be better with our hands. A couple 5-yard penalties that you don't want to have, of moving offsides on an extra point, things like that. That we got to be better concentration. But I think I said it Saturday night was it's a good first win to have that type of win, but there's also plenty on the film that you can point out that we have to embrace to get better at.
Players were in the mule room. I don't know the official name, but for the first time today.
You and I both. No, I think it's a Jayhawk club.
There you go.
Not to be confused with the other Jayhawk club. Sorry.
You broke me. Talking about the temporary building behind us and then now moving into that, can you maybe speak to what that means for the players and what it looked like for them in the past?
Yeah, I mean, we've, and probably a good time to thank all our local businesses that have been part of our catering, at least since, for many years and probably since our arrival and everything that they've done. But this gives us a chance to have meals that are cooked and prepped right here. We've eaten in the old area here, we've eaten in the indoor, and then we had the temporary structure that was put together, and our guys have done what we've asked them, and they've made the best of those things. But now to have a top of the line type food dining area, our guys are really excited, and to see their faces, and I walked in the team meeting today, and even as we wrapped up practice, guys were talking about lunch already, and they're all excited, and you have Chef Mike there, and to have something like that, it's new and exciting, and it's going to benefit our guys in so many different ways. So it's another fine addition to our program.
With a short week playing on Friday, how's that change your preparation throughout this week?
Well, we had a practice last night. We had to bring them in yesterday afternoon. Usually Sundays are day off. Put the game to rest. They got a lift in. Had our meetings. Took the field around 6 o'clock and for a short practice. And I thought they moved around pretty well considering, and the soreness and all those things. And then today I thought they again, moved around better than I probably anticipated. Got a lot to clean up and get ready in the game plan, but like the attitude, so everything's, kind of that one day ahead, and then Saturday will be their day off for the week.
And looking at the progression of some of the guys who didn't dress for Saturday's game, just where are they at?
Dean practiced today. I'm very feeling like he should be available. Trying to go through all the list of Gage Keys is probably still out. Jack Snyder will still be out. Dylan Brooks will be out. David Bajuan will be out for the season. As we said before, who else am I missing in there?
LaShawn.
I'm sorry?
LaShawn.
Yeah. Well, it'll be, he was out. Yeah, he was out there yesterday doing a little. It'll still be questionable to doubtful. We'll see with him. try to use my words if I gotta get ready for all that stuff, so.
Joseph,
Yeah, Joseph he'll be out.
okay. How did you kind of end up scheduling Wagner? What's your relationship with that program?
I don't really have a relationship with them. I haven't met their coach and stuff. I know, obviously Steven Matos was with us as an analyst and then was there for a couple seasons. Now he's back with us. You know, looking at opportunities and, you know, we looked at our FCS scheduling and you know, some of those Northeast schools had expanded their games and, again, it was something that kind of fit into the opportunity, so we took advantage of it. Scheduled them and, again, the Friday night is something that, because of the holiday weekend, we thought would be the best way to fit it in as well.
DK showed a lot of different looks up front and everything. As a guy with an offensive background and a former quarterback, what sort of challenge does that present for an opponent trying to prepare for that?
Yeah, there's a lot of different looks. DK's done a nice job of mixing it up in personnel groupings. You know, I think, you know, we did some things that were somewhat sometimes similar, but left the same people on the field to get to those where right now we use some substitutions and can still rotate a lot of guys, given, again, the looks, the different movements, things like that, all make things difficult in communication, much like what we are on offense. Hopefully we're becoming a little bit of that on defense, a little bit more than we have been in the past, giving different looks, anticipating where people are coming from, trying to mix it, you know, cause communication gaps, protection breakdowns, all those type of things, and you know, the thing DK's done a nice job of is demanding communication with our players, and though it still has to improve, our guys are talking more on the field and they're communicating and making sure that we all know what's going on and things, and I really like where that defense is trending.
Obviously, you can't talk about anybody specifically, but it was a big recruiting weekend for you guys, having them in with the new stadium and everything. What sort of buzz have you heard back?
Yeah, it was very good, you know, obviously walking around, looking at their faces, talking to them a little bit before the game and then trying to get with them after the game. It was a really good mix of some 26, 27s and a few 28s at the game. Again, they sense the excitement, they see the commitment, all those different things that are adding to this program. I think, you know, we talked about between that and visiting coaches that came to the game and took advantage of the opportunity we provide there. And we look back to what it was 5 years ago, it's a night and day difference of where that's at. And again, we have to stay after it and stay thorough in what we're doing, but it's exciting to see people come from really all over the country to come check out our program this early in the year. And that's one of the advantages of playing in week 0 is we file a waiver to have the opportunity to have someone come this early, but it's definitely one that you can, as young men, have many opportunities to go see games and take a look at a lot of schools. It worked to our favor this week, very much so.
Lance, the punting and the kicking game all looked pretty solid. What was your take on that? And is that what you saw in fall camp?
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, sometimes it's hard to gauge everything in punting during certain times. You don't do a ton of live stuff, but I thought Finn Lambert did a very nice job late. Is probably everything we'd hoped he would be as well, and what he has shown since he's been here in consistency. But both those guys, I thought, had excellent days, and again, we want that to continue. But I thought we were solid there. I thought kick return. I think we returned the first one, probably one we should have kept in the end zone. Kind of caught it. I think Emmanuel was excited, tried to make something happen. Kind of caught the kickoff. You know, momentum going a little bit backwards and probably didn't get it, you know, didn't block it as well as we needed to. But I thought, of course, for a true freshman in his first game, Tate Nagy did a very nice job in the punt return game for us. Made good decisions, had one return, so something to build upon once again.
And then watching Bengali and Trey and some of the linebackers, is this a little more athleticism, maybe, the way they run than some of the pass groups?
I've always tried to stay out of total comparisons, John, but I think between the length and athleticism, it's something that we thought might be the case as we headed into this year with those guys. Bengali showed why we thought he was an important addition, and Trey, I thought, had a very good game as well. He's a very solid player, a good football player, and again, they had good games and really showed up in this scheme and were very active all day long.
Lance, I think Carson played the most snaps of having tight ends. What does he kind of bring to the table, especially as a freshman, to kind of play on his own?
There's 4 tight ends that are seeing time, as you know, but he did get the most. I think right now he's probably the biggest body of them and the best inline blocker that we have. But he has shown that he's been very consistent through camp and will continue to battle for those. But as you can see, all those guys are seeing time during all times of the game, I guess is how I want to say it. So it'll continue to be, but Carson Bruin showed that he is going to be a very, very good football player here in the future.
And with the offense, you guys had a lot of different guys catch the ball. Is that kind of the focal point this year to kind of spread the ball?
It's going to be depending on games, of course, but I think we had 10 guys catch passes, which, again, spreading the ball around keeps a lot of people happy. and get them all on the field and let them show what they can do. But, I don't know if it can be that way every game, but as you say, when you're playing 4 tight ends and you're playing 5, 6 receivers and you're rotating some backs in there and, like Harry Stewart gets a catch and things, he saw his real first action. It's good to see and good to see the versatility of those skilled players.
With Steven and his experience at Wagner, how much is he a knowledge considering the fact that Wagner's not played a game this year?
Yeah, there's a new coordinator obviously replacing Steven, and there's, I think, defensively they've made some changes in how they're going to call it. So, playing someone, it's a little bit like last week where you got a lot of unknowns. Their offensive coordinator came from Union College, so you're trying to watch Union College film and you're trying to find other ways to find out what identity would be. Like everyone, we have opportunities to add older players, so what's the makeup going to be? For sure, it's a program, being in Staten Island, that doesn't get a ton of coverage in that type of that, like many of us are fortunate to have. So it's hard to dig up things that are happening daily in the program and things like that. So again, you gotta be sound early in the game, find out what the identity of their game plan is going to be on both sides of the ball, and then go play.
Hey, with the offense, how did it feel to have Z calling the game again? I know it's familiar to you over the years, but
Yeah, Jim, I think, called an excellent game. I think, again, it's still been pretty consistent from what we want to be over the years. I know that'll continue to be heavily analyzed in this room, but I think our balance was there. I thought again it was Jim's done it a long time. I kind of know it's not like it's I thought operationally on both sides of the ball, the staff communicated extremely well. I think we had one mix-up defensively, personnel-wise, but other than that, it was clean on the headphones. Everybody seemed to be, there wasn't a moment of uncertainty on certain things, so I was very pleased with the job of the assistant coaches in that regard.
and then with the captain's thing, if you mentioned this when you announced them, I apologize, but what went into DJ being that 4th one? I know it's going to rotate, but what went into that?
Really what DJ has done, for a long time in this program, but and I talked a little bit of the staff about some possibilities, and DJ was one that there wasn't really any debate on the subject because of really the work ethic of what DJ Withers brings this program each and every day on that practice field is really special. He works extremely hard. Not that we don't have others, okay, and that's always what you got to be careful of. But the way DJ Withers goes about it, You know, same reason why we took him to media day, you know, and for what he's done for this program and who he is and how he goes about it in a position that doesn't get a lot of notoriety. But there's a guy that had his tonsils taken out, you know, shortly before the season camp started. And, you know, having your tonsils out at that age is not easy. And DJ, you know, kind of went through it, and he gained, you know, keeping weight on in camp is a struggle. He put on 12 pounds. And through the heat and through the work and all those things, you gotta work at it. And he did, and he's a great example in many regards for this program.
You mentioned it a bit there with Matt's question, but having Z in the box and DK on the field, were you using the Fresno game at all as like evaluating if that's how you wanted that to be, or were you confident moving forward? That's how you guys would handle the season.
I was confident moving forward that it would be, you know, I want, you know, like I said earlier, I think it's, personally, I feel it's still strong for the offensive coordinator to be up and somewhat away where you can process and see things immediately. I think defensively, you have a chance to have a better sense of what's going on through the information there. It can be either way, but as I said, I'm probably more open to the coordinators being on the field because of the tablets and other resources that we have, more than I would have been, like I said earlier, and again, just because, you know, sometimes those offensive, you know, I don't even know how those guys would carry their whole easel of you know, long charts of plays and grease boards and all that. So it's good that they're up there, and I thought it worked well, you know. So and DK, probably the thing I didn't know exactly how he was going to do it, but if you notice, he works away from the ball a lot and gets himself angles where he can see where there's not, you know, where he's processing, not a lot of people around him. He doesn't have to be right at the ball and things like that. So again, giving opportunities for guys to be comfortable to do the job to the best of their abilities.
Anything else for Coach Leipold? All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone. Have a good